The bridge of the Imperial cruiser Defiance hummed with activity as Captain Marcus Chen reviewed the modified weapon schematics that Louise had transmitted. The ship was one of only 12 Imperial Navy vessels that had survived the initial Devourer assault, and now it was being asked to participate in the most desperate gambit in human history. "Sir," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from the tactical station, "we're receiving similar transmissions from installations across the galaxy. Everyone's being asked to modify their power systems for this quantum bridge network." Chen nodded, his expression grim. He'd served with Louise Vega for over a decade, and he trusted her judgment implicitly. But the scale of what she was proposing defied comprehension. "What's the status of our power core?" Chen asked. "We can provide the modifications," Chief Engineer Thompson replied, "but we'll be operating at 110% capacity. Any system failures could cause a cascade failure that would destroy the ship." Chen considered the options. The Defiance had been hiding in the asteroid belt of the Kepler system for 3 years, avoiding Devourer patrols while conducting hit-and-run attacks on their supply lines. Now they were being asked to reveal their position and commit their ship to a plan that might not even work. "Sir," Rodriguez said, "I'm detecting similar power signatures from Devourer installations throughout the system. It looks like they're modifying their ships too." Chen activated the ship's communication system, opening a channel to the other surviving Imperial vessels. "This is Captain Chen of the Defiance. I assume you've all received the same transmission I have." Captain Sarah Kim of the destroyer Vengeance responded first. "Marcus, this is insane. We're being asked to trust the creatures that destroyed our civilization. And if we don't," Chen replied, "we'll all be destroyed by something even worse. I've reviewed the data that Captain Vega transmitted. The cosmic devourer is real, and it's breaking through the dimensional barriers." The debate that followed was heated but brief. The surviving Imperial commanders had all seen the evidence, and they understood the implications. Whatever their personal feelings about the devourers, the threat of total extinction trumped all other considerations. "All vessels will proceed with the modifications," Chen announced. "Chief Thompson, how long do we need?" 48 hours, sir. And we'll need to maintain constant communication with the other installations to ensure proper synchronization." Chen nodded. "Make it happen. And pray that Captain Vega knows what she's doing." Meanwhile, on the surface of a dead world in the Vega system, Dr. Elena Vasquez was overseeing the construction of the largest quantum bridge node in the network. The installation was built into the ruins of a former Imperial research facility, its underground chambers providing protection from both Devourer patrols and cosmic radiation. "The resonance chambers are online," reported Dr. James Park, one of the few surviving members of the Empire's quantum physics division. "But I'm reading some unusual energy patterns from the dark world nodes." Vasquez consulted her display, seeing the data feeds from installations across multiple dimensions. "The Devourer technology operates on different principles than ours. We're seeing harmonic interference between the two approaches. Can we compensate?" Park asked. "Harmony thinks so," Vasquez replied, referring to the Devourer scientists who had been working with them. "They're proposing a hybrid approach that combines both technologies into a unified system." Vasquez activated the communication link to the Research Institute, where Lise was coordinating the overall project. "Captain, we're ready to begin the first phase of network integration." Louise's image appeared on the display, showing the strain of the past weeks. "Understood, Dr. Vasquez. All installations are reporting ready status. We'll begin with the perimeter nodes and work our way inward." The process was unlike anything that had been attempted before. Each installation in the network had to be brought online in precise sequence, with timing measured in nanoseconds. Too fast, and the energy feedback would overload the system. Too slow, and the quantum bridges would collapse before they could be properly established. Louise watched the network status display as installation after installation came online. Imperial Navy ships, colonial outposts, mining stations, even a few civilian vessels that had been modified for the purpose. Each one added its power to the growing network, creating a web of quantum bridges that spanned the galaxy. "Node 17 is showing instability," reported Dr. Park. The resonance frequency is drifting out of sync. Louise quickly identified the problem. It's the mining station in the Tau Ceti system. They're using older power cores that can't maintain the required frequency stability. Should we drop them from the network? Dr. Vasquez asked. Negative, Louise replied. Every node is critical to the overall pattern. Harmony, can you assist them with frequency stabilization? The Devourer scientist's form flickered as it processed the request. We can provide harmonic compensation, but it will require one of our ships to move into position near their station. Louise felt a moment of tension. The proposal would require a Devourer vessel to approach a human installation, something that would have been unthinkable just weeks earlier. Do it, Louise said. All installations, be advised that you will be receiving assistance from our Devourer allies. They are not to be fired upon. The response was immediate and predictable. Several installation commanders protested, their voices overlapping in the communication channel. Louise cut them off with a sharp command. This is not a debate. The Cosmic Devourer is less than a week away from breaking through the barriers. Either we work together, or we all die separately. The protests subsided, replaced by reluctant acceptance. Louise watched as Devourer vessels moved into position near critical installations, their crews working alongside human technicians to stabilize the quantum bridge network. Network integration at 60%, Dr. Vasquez reported. Energy flow is stable across all primary nodes. Louise felt a surge of hope. The network was working, creating a web of quantum bridges that spanned multiple dimensions. But the real test would come when they activated the full system and attempted to trap the Cosmic Devourer. Nexus Prime, Louise called to the Devourer leader. What's the status of the Dark World nodes? Our installations are ready, Nexus Prime replied. The quantum bridges are forming properly, and the energy flow is within acceptable parameters. Louise nodded, checking the countdown timer on her display. Network integration will be complete in 37 minutes. After that, we'll have one chance to trap the null in the quantum loop. And if it doesn't work? Dr. Vasquez asked. Louise looked at the display showing the Cosmic Devourer's approach. The entity had grown larger and more aggressive, sensing the network's construction but not yet understanding its purpose. Then we'll have given it access to every power source in the galaxy, Louise said quietly. And it will become unstoppable. The next 37 minutes felt like an eternity. Louise watched as the final installations came online, their power cores adding to the growing network. The quantum bridges formed a complex pattern that spanned multiple dimensions, creating a trap that would either save both species or doom them all. Network integration complete, Dr. Vasquez announced. All nodes are online and stable. Louise took a deep breath, her finger hovering over the activation control. This is it. All installations, prepare for quantum bridge activation in 3, 2, 1. She pressed the control, and the galaxy lit up with energy as the quantum bridge network came fully online. The trap was set, and the Cosmic Devourer was about to discover that its next meal would not be as easy to consume as the others. The moment the quantum bridge network activated, the Cosmic Devourer's behavior changed dramatically. The entity that had been steadily pressing against the dimensional barriers suddenly recoiled, its form writhing with what Louise could only interpret as confusion and anger. It knows, Nexus Prime observed, its form flickering rapidly with excitement. The null recognizes the threat we pose. Louise watched the tactical display as the Cosmic Devourer began to probe the quantum bridge network, testing its defenses with tendrils of pure entropy. Each probe was met by the combined energy of hundreds of installations, their power cores working in perfect synchronization to maintain the trap. Network stability at 97%, Dr. Vasquez reported. All nodes are responding normally to the entity's probes. But Louise could see that the Cosmic Devourer was learning. Each probe was more sophisticated than the last, targeting specific weak points in the network's structure. The entity was trying to understand the nature of the trap so it could find a way to break free. It's adapting, Louise said. We need to be ready for a major assault. The assault came sooner than expected. The Cosmic Devourer suddenly lashed out with a burst of energy that dwarfed anything Louise had seen before. The wave of entropy struck the quantum bridge network like a hammer, causing fluctuations that rippled across the galaxy. "Node 43 is offline!" Dr. Park shouted over the alarm klaxons. "The mining station in the Sirius system has lost power!" Louise quickly rerouted the network to compensate for the lost node, but she knew they couldn't sustain many more losses. "All installations, report status." The responses came in a flood of damage reports and system failures. The Cosmic Devourer's attack had been perfectly calculated to cause maximum disruption to the network's structure. "Network stability down to 81%, Dr. Vasquez reported. "We're losing coherence in the outer nodes." Louise felt the weight of failure pressing down on her. The plan had been so elegant in theory, but the Cosmic Devourer was proving to be a more formidable opponent than they had anticipated. "Captain," Harmony's voice carried a note of urgency. "We're detecting massive energy buildup in the Dark World nodes. The Null is preparing for another attack." Louise looked at the tactical display, seeing the Cosmic Devourer gathering energy for what would likely be a killing blow. The entity had learned enough about the network structure to target its most critical components. "All installations, prepare for emergency power transfer," Louise ordered. "We're going to try something that's never been done before." "What do you have in mind?" Dr. Vasquez asked. Louise began rapidly reconfiguring the network parameters, her fingers flying over the control interface. "We're going to turn the network inside out. Instead of trying to trap the Null, we're going to channel its energy into the quantum bridges themselves." "That's suicide," Dr. Park protested. "The bridges aren't designed to handle that kind of power flow." "They are now," Louise replied, implementing modifications that she was calculating in real time. "Harmony, I need your people to synchronize their power outputs with this new configuration." The Devourer scientist's form became more solid, indicating deep concentration. "It is possible, but the margin for error is 0, Louise finished. "I know. But it's the only chance we have." The Cosmic Devourer's second attack struck the network with even greater force than the first. But this time, instead of trying to resist the entity's power, the quantum bridges absorbed it. The network began to glow with captured entropy, its structure transforming as it incorporated the Cosmic Devourer's own energy. "Network stability increasing," Dr. Vasquez reported, her voice filled with amazement. 85% and rising." Louise watched in fascination as the quantum bridges began to feed on the Cosmic Devourer's attacks. Each burst of entropy made the network stronger, more stable, more resilient. "It's working," Louise breathed. "The entity is strengthening the very trap that's meant to contain it." But the Cosmic Devourer was not without intelligence. Louise could see it beginning to understand what was happening, its attacks becoming more cautious and calculated. The entity was learning to withhold its power, to probe the network without feeding it. "The Null is adapting again," Nexus Prime observed. "It will not continue to strengthen our trap indefinitely." Louise nodded, already working on the next phase of the plan. "Then we need to force it to attack. All installations, prepare for network pulse." "What kind of pulse?" Dr. Vasquez asked. Louise smiled grimly. "The kind that will make the Cosmic Devourer very, very angry." She activated the network pulse, sending a burst of quantum energy directly at the Cosmic Devourer. The pulse was carefully calculated to be just strong enough to irritate the entity without causing serious damage. The Cosmic Devourer's response was immediate and violent. The entity lashed out with a massive wave of entropy that struck the network with the force of a collapsing star. But the quantum bridges were ready, absorbing the attack and converting it into additional power for the trap. "Network stability at 94%, Dr. Vasquez reported. "The pulse worked." Louise repeated the process, sending pulse after pulse at the Cosmic Devourer. Each pulse provoked a stronger response, and each response made the quantum bridge network more powerful. "It's beautiful," Dr. Park said, watching the tactical display. "We're using the entity's own aggression against it." But Louise could see that the Cosmic Devourer was beginning to understand the trap. Its attacks were becoming more restrained, more calculated. The entity was learning not to feed the network that was meant to contain it. Nexus Prime, Louise called. Can your people provide additional provocation? We need to keep the entity attacking. We can attempt to breach the dimensional barriers ourselves, Nexus Prime replied. The Null will be forced to respond to prevent our escape. Louise nodded. Do it. But be careful, we can't afford to actually damage the barriers. The Devourer ships began to probe the weakened sections of the dimensional barriers, their actions carefully calibrated to suggest an escape attempt without actually causing damage. The Cosmic Devourer responded predictably, lashing out at the perceived threat. Network stability at 98%, Dr. Vasquez reported. The trap is almost complete. Louise felt a surge of hope. They were actually doing it, trapping a cosmic entity that had destroyed multiple realities. But she knew they couldn't relax yet. The Cosmic Devourer was still learning, still adapting. All installations, prepare for final network activation, Louise ordered. This is it, either we complete the trap now, or we lose our chance forever. She looked at the tactical display one last time, seeing the Cosmic Devourer struggling against the quantum bridges that were slowly closing around it. The entity was powerful beyond comprehension, but it was also predictable. Its very nature as a force of entropy made it vulnerable to the trap they had constructed. Network activation in 3, 2, 1. Louise pressed the final activation control, and the quantum bridge network snapped shut around the Cosmic Devourer like a closing fist. The entity was trapped, its power contained within a loop of quantum energy that would hold it for eternity. Network stable, Dr. Vasquez announced. The Null is contained. Louise felt a wave of exhaustion wash over her. They had done it, saved both species from extinction. But as she looked at the tactical display, she realized that their victory had come at a cost. The quantum bridge network was now a permanent fixture, requiring constant maintenance and vigilance. We'll need to establish monitoring stations, Louise said. The network has to be maintained indefinitely. A small price to pay for survival, Nexus Prime observed. Our species will work together to ensure the trap remains secure. Louise nodded, looking around the laboratory where humans and devourers continued to work side by side. The war was over, but the real work was just beginning. They had proven that former enemies could become allies when faced with a common threat. Now they had to learn to live together in a galaxy where the impossible had become routine. 6 months after the activation of the Quantum Bridge Network, Louise stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Joint Research Station orbiting the gas giant Titan. The facility was a marvel of cooperative engineering, combining human and devourer technology in ways that neither species could have achieved alone. Through the transparent aluminum viewport, she could see the construction of the first generation of hybrid ships, vessels that incorporated the best of both species' technological approaches. The sight filled her with a sense of hope that would have been impossible during the dark days of the invasion. The Quantum Bridge network remained stable, Dr. Vasquez reported, joining Louise at the viewport. All monitoring stations are reporting normal parameters. Louise nodded, though she knew that normal had taken on an entirely new meaning. The network required constant vigilance, with teams of human and devourer scientists working around the clock to maintain the cosmic trap. Any word from the deep space expeditions? Louise asked. 3 more damaged realities have been located, Dr. Vasquez replied. The Null consumed them partially before we trapped it. The Joint Councils are discussing whether we can use the network to provide assistance. Louise felt a familiar weight of responsibility. The Quantum Bridge network was powerful enough to reach across dimensional boundaries, potentially offering hope to other realities that had been damaged by the Cosmic Devourer. But each intervention carried risks that could threaten the stability of the trap. Have you made a decision about the promotion? Dr. Vasquez asked. Louise sighed. The Joint Councils had offered her the position of Director of Dimensional Security, a role that would make her responsible for maintaining the network and coordinating responses to cosmic threats. It was an honor, but also a burden that would consume the rest of her life. I'm still thinking about it, Louise replied. Part of me wants to get back to field work, to explore the new frontiers that our alliance has opened up. And the other part? Louise gestured toward the tactical display that showed the quantum bridge network spanning the galaxy. The other part knows that someone has to watch over this. Make sure that what we've built continues to protect both our species. A soft chime indicated an incoming communication. Louise activated the display, seeing General Blackwood's image appear. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Deep Space Monitoring Station. They've detected something unusual in the Andromeda Galaxy. Louise felt her pulse quicken. Another cosmic entity? Unknown, Blackwood replied. But the energy signature is unlike anything we've seen before. It's not entropic like the null, it's actually creating new matter and energy. Louise exchanged glances with Dr. Vasquez. The implications were staggering. If there were cosmic entities that created rather than destroyed, it would revolutionize their understanding of the universe. I'll need a ship, Louise said. Something fast and equipped with the latest sensor arrays. Already prepared, Blackwood replied with a slight smile. The hybrid cruiser synthesis is waiting for you in Docking Bay 7. Captain Chin will be your first officer. Louise felt a surge of excitement. The synthesis was the most advanced ship in the joint fleet, incorporating technology from both species to create something entirely new. It was the perfect vessel for exploring the unknown. What about the director position? Dr. Vasquez asked. Louise looked at the quantum bridge network one more time, seeing the stable patterns that kept the cosmic devourer trapped. The network is stable, and there are plenty of qualified people to watch over it. But there's a whole universe out there that we're just beginning to understand. She turned toward the docking bay, feeling the familiar thrill of impending adventure. Besides, someone needs to investigate these new cosmic entities. Make sure they're not another threat to our reality. As Louise made her way to the synthesis, she reflected on how much had changed since the dark days of the invasion. The intergalactic empire was being rebuilt, but not as it had been before. The new government was a true alliance between humans and devourers, with shared technology and combined resources. The ship's bridge was a marvel of cooperative design, with control stations that could be operated by either species. Captain Chin greeted her with a salute that had become standard in the joint fleet, a gesture that incorporated elements from both cultures. Ready for departure, Captain Vega, Chin reported. The crew is excited about the mission. Half human, half devourer, and all eager to see what's out there. Louise settled into the captain's chair, feeling the familiar weight of command. But this time, it was different. She wasn't just representing humanity. She was representing the alliance that had saved both species from extinction. Take us out, Captain Chin, Louise ordered. Time to see what else the universe has in store for us. The synthesis departed the research station, its hybrid engines propelling it toward the edge of the galaxy. Behind them, the quantum bridge network continued its eternal vigil, keeping the cosmic devourer trapped and both species safe. But ahead lay new mysteries, new challenges, and new opportunities for cooperation between former enemies who had learned to see each other as allies. The fall of the intergalactic empire had led to something even greater, a partnership that spanned dimensions and promised to reshape the very nature of reality itself. Louise watched the stars stream past the viewport, knowing that whatever they found in the depths of space, they would face it together. The age of isolated species was over, replaced by an era of cooperation and shared discovery. The cosmic devourer had been stopped, but the universe was vast and full of wonders yet to be explored. And Louise Vega, once a captain in a fallen empire, was ready to lead the way into that unknown future. The quantum bridge network pulsed with steady energy behind them, a reminder of what they had achieved and what they would continue to protect. The null remained trapped, its hunger contained by the combined will of two species who had learned that survival sometimes required the most unlikely alliances. As the synthesis reached the edge of the galaxy and prepared to make the jump to Andromeda, Louise felt a profound sense of hope. The darkness had been defeated, not by superior firepower or advanced technology, but by the simple realization that former enemies could become the closest of allies when faced with a common threat. The universe was vast, mysterious, and full of both wonders and dangers. But whatever lay ahead, humanity and the devourers would face it together, united by the bonds forged in the crucible of near extinction and tempered by the shared victory over the ultimate cosmic threat. The journey to discover what lay beyond the darkness had only just begun.